right, so what we're using today for tomatoes is a nice whole peeled tomato that we've kind of just smushed up. I think that as my grandmother always told me, if you don't get your hands in the food, it doesn't taste as good. So when we take the tomatoes out of the can, we just stick our hands in there and give them a nice crushing. You don't want as fine as a crushed tomato because you want some texture and some big pieces. So the whole peeled that you just smash up with your hands is a really, really great option for this. And I'm going to drop my tomatoes so they can start developing all that flavor. Here we go. Oh yeah, that's slowing right down beautifully. Now that's a pot of food. In with your pea pods. Beautiful. I gotta be careful, I'm not gonna have enough room left for the fish.
Right.
Nice. That just looks like a bowl full of goodness already, the way it is right there.
Oh, they're both so colorful too.
Yep. All that brightness from all the flavors, from the zucchini and the summer squash, and then the aromatics that we started with. I started with the onion and the fennel, and then we've added some nice fresh parsley to that. So the only thing that's left to go into my version is the cream and the fish. I'm going to let that stew for just a minute first, and then I'll get that going in next. I think with the Sicilian version, and I really call it the Sicilian version because how this stew was created was that, well, just like that. I took a little bit of everything that I had laying around and put it all together in a pot and then created a fish stew with it, which is such a Sicilian way of cooking. It's, you know, nothing goes to waste. You take a little bit of whatever's fresh and mix it all together, and then there you have it, a nice Sicilian fish stew.
Beautiful, beautiful, award-winning fish stew.
Award-winning fish stew. Yes, well, thank you. Yes, forgot about that. All right, now in with my cream. And we use about 2 cups in a pot this size, just enough to, as I like to call it, pink it out. We just want to smooth out the tomatoes a little bit so it's not so acidity. We drop the acidity level a little bit. Oh boy, that looks nice.
Oh, it sure does.
You almost ready for your tomatoes?
I'm looking real close. I'm really, really close. I just want to get a little bit of softness to these snap peas, just so they're not undercooked.
There you go.
But you got to find that real happy medium between crispy and soft.
All right, and then one more thing. Oops, I almost forgot about my spinach. How could you forget about the spinach? I got some nice baby spinach over here that's all washed and ready to go. We're just going to take the leaves. I've torn them up just a little bit. We don't want to cut them because, I mean, it's just little baby leaves anyways. Then I'm just going to fold the baby spinach in, again, just to add another layer and some more texture. All right, so back over to the pot, just a handful or so is all. And that'll wilt right down in real nice. We shouldn't have any, shouldn't take up any more room.
It's just about tomato time for Thai fish stew.
All right, I'm going to get right out of your way.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that smells real good. It smells real good.
So now you're going to add a few more flavor elements than I added as well. What do you got going in now? You got some fish sauce, some soy sauce, some stuff like that going in?
Absolutely. I have a small little blend of fish sauce mashed with soy sauce. And it's really only just about, it's really 6 or 7 drops of fish sauce. As I said earlier, it's really, really, really pungent.
Okay.
So you really only need just 7 drops total for a pot about that size.
Okay.
And I use about a half a cup of soy sauce.
All right. Are you doing that? What's next for you?
I'm just going to let these come right back up to a low simmer, and then I'm going to add my fancy, nice Asian flavors.
There you go. I think I'm going to throw my fish in. I think I'm ready.
Yeah?
Yep.
You got enough room?
I should. You see, as you can see,
That's
I got
a big pot of stew.
I know, it's a big pot of stew. I should be all right. You can see the bubbles around the edges that I've come right back up to a nice low simmer. We don't want it boiling. We don't want to, although we used heavy cream. So if it does come to a boil, don't be afraid. Because if it does come to a boil, your heavy cream won't break because the fat content is high enough in heavy cream. If you were using something like skim milk or 1% or half and half,
Half
right?
and half likes to separate a
Yeah,
lot.
they like to separate on you. So, all right, we're going to go very gently with the fish here. And I'm going to use my hands, as you see me do often, just because I don't want to put too much and have an overflowing mess. And the reason that we're putting the fish in raw is that we want to extract the flavor from the fish, as well as we don't want to overcook the fish. We want it to just gently poach in the stew liquid, so it'll do both of those things. It's kind of like a double duty secret there.
And that also leaches out a lot of flavor from the fish into the liquid,
Right.
as opposed to cooking the fish beforehand.
I think that's all I'm getting in there.
I think that's all you're going to fit.
I don't know how to cook small.
That's our biggest argument at the restaurant, isn't it?
There we go.
All right, I'm back up to a simmer now.
All right,
So I'm
now I'm
gonna-
going to let you go ahead and finish your version.
So I'm going to add, what I have is this great, great coconut milk.
Okay.
It gets really, really, really sweet in there. So we're going to take a little bit of that down when I add my soy and my fish sauce.
Now, coconut milk, unlike regular cream, is another thing that you're not going to have to worry about breaking or separating because
won't.
coconut milk is,
It won't break.
because it's non-dairy. So you're not only making a nice, healthy fish, fish-based stew.
But it's also lactose intolerant friendly.
Yeah.
It's also
got the
vegan
n-
friendly, vegetarian friendly. Well,
Well, not
minus-
vegan.
minus-
Not vegan.
Minus the fish.
Yep. Vegetarian. There we go.
And that's the same kind of thing that Angela does with hers. It's pink it up.
Pink it up. Yep.
But you can just smell that. It's like that island
I
flavor
want to
coming
smell
at you.
yours. I want to get in there and take a little
Oh,
whiff.
it's,
Yep.
oh, it's phenomenal.
Oh, you can definitely smell the coconut milk. You can smell the difference in the two of them in that respect that you've got a lot more sweetness. Even
Yep.
though the sherry holds a lot of sweetness,
Yep.
the coconut milk is bringing out a whole different level of sweetness. And then you're going to have a little bit of tang
Yep.
from the soy and the fish. And then heat comes from, tell me about your favorite ingredient, Rob.
Oh, here we go. This is my favorite thing in the world.
It's over on the counter.
Oh,
Grab
here
it
it is.
so you can show everybody what it's all about.
Sriracha. This is the #1 ingredient that I put in almost all of my dishes. It brings out so much flavor. It's just a mild, mild chili sauce. Little tiny bit of heat to it. But sriracha, I highly recommend this in every kitchen. Every kitchen. I forced Angela to order it for me when I first started working for her.
I was always a Tabasco girl, but yes, Rob's got me on the sriracha bandwagon.
And once again, with sriracha, you only need just a tiny little bit, because it does have a lot of vinegar in it, so it has a lot of bite to it.
Yep.
But
Really, when
That
I say it's
stays.
his favorite ingredient,
it really is.
It really is.
I would bathe in it if I had the choice.
I mean, even things like, I find him putting it in things like potato salad, and I mean, on and on and on and on and on, Rob goes with the sriracha. All right, so I think that what's happening next for you is going to be what, the fish?
The fish.
All right.
The fish is next.
Yeah, are we ready to slide that in there so
It's-
we can take a look at our two pots side by
Oh,
side?
yes, yes I am.
We're gonna
I just
do a
had
little...
I had to add my sriracha.
Yes, we know. We can't let you go without your sriracha.
So what I have here is just that sea bass that we were talking about earlier, and I have some beautiful, beautiful U10 scallops that have just been chopped up. And the scallops are going to add a lot more of a meaty texture to it.
Right.
What they call in Japanese is the fifth food taste is umami, which you get from scallops, mushrooms, anything with a meat flavor that isn't really a meat.
A meat, yep.
Yep.
So it's really a texture that they're talking about?
Yeah, umami is more of a textural flavor.
Very cool. Then while you're doing that, I'm going to give a quick little cleanup here so we can show everybody what it's going to look like to plate these up.
That smells so good.
Almost
it's like
there.
It's like a Friday at work.
Yes, because Friday is always fish day.
Always fish on Fridays.
Yeah. So that's for you to test with. That's for me to test with. And I'm going to go ahead and give mine a little taste, make sure we're okay with salt and pepper and seasonings like that.
Yep.
It's going to be hot. Oh, I think I want a little bit more salt and pepper in mine. But as far as the sherry and everything goes, I think we are there. Oh, look at that. Who wouldn't want to come home to a big old, whoops, messy pot of that at the end of the day? Gonna have a little cleanup to do today. As you can see that in the fish, that the fish is slowly cooking, that it's still a little bit transparent, but it's nice and slowly poaching in the stew there. Oh, I think my pilot almost went out there.
No, you're lit.
Yep, I'm lit.
What else is clicking over there?
That's me clicking.
That's
I
you
think
clicking?
it's because it got wet. There we go. All
Beautiful.
better. I make a lot of messes. All right, let's clean some of this stuff out of the way. And let me get the serving bowls.
I gotta add my finishing touch, and
All
then we're
right.
just about ready to eat this as well.
So
And
in
this
that
is-
finishing touch, tell me about what that is.
This is my fish sauce. Just like I said earlier, 7 or 8 drops of fish sauce, and just about a half a cup of soy sauce.
Okay.
And I'm only just gonna use a little tiny bit, just to add that little extra saltiness to it. I'm just gonna give that a quick stir.
So with the fish sauce being as fishy as you say it is that going to add a little bit of a fishy?
It is.
Okay.
It is.
Like how
But
fishy?
it won't be too bad. I mean, if you're ordering fish stew for fish, so you got to have that little extra fish taste to it, because I do have the sweetness from the coconut milk,
Right.
and I do have the sweetness from the tomatoes and the sweetness from the caramelized vegetables. So you need a little salty bite to it, you know.
So it's really just going to balance everything out.
And that's where sriracha comes in.
Ah,
It levels the whole playing
levels
field.
it all right. There you go. Well, go ahead and grab your wine. I'm going to grab my wine because we both have different wines to go with our dinner today.
Mm-hmm.
And you've already talked a little bit about yours.
Mm-hmm.
Just going to run to the fridge real quick.
Yeah, what are you using for a wine?
I am, I've got a nice Sauvignon Blanc, which is a California Sauvignon Blanc. It's a Napa Valley. I really like Sauvignon Blancs from Australia when you're doing things like grilled fish, because it's got a little more acidity. It's got a little more fruit notes to it, a little more grapefruit and lemon. But when you use a Sauvignon Blanc from a domestic one from like California or Washington, they don't have as much fruitiness to them. They've got a little more grassy. They kind of hold a little, you know what I mean when I say that? Grassy, kind of earthy, but still bright and light. So I like this with the fish stew because it's cutting enough acidity to cut the cream, but not so much that it's going to overpower the fish.
Yep.
So, and you said your Riesling is dry?
It is. It's more of it's a dry sweet wine.
Okay.
It goes very, very well with the Thai food.
Okay.
It helps bring out a lot of the fruity elements to it. And sometimes it seems like it's a sparkling wine.
Okay.
And it just
Does it get bubbly?
no, it doesn't really get too bubbly.
Well,
It-
let's pour a glass and see what it looks like next to mine.
if you get it super, super chilled down to about 34 degrees, you can have some bubbles, but I'm really not a big fan of bubbly wine.
It looks about the same. Oh yeah, yours looks like it's got a little
See
more.
the tiny little bit of carbonation
Yeah,
because we
little
had it
more-
refrigerated for a while.
Yep. A little more
But
air
it goes
to it.
it goes phenomenal with the
With the
sea
fish
bass
stew?
and the scallops, and it just cuts right through that.
All right, we're gonna
Look at your pot of stew, huh?
how neat Rob's is and how messy mine is. All right, so I think the only thing we have left to do is, right here on the stove behind you. I'm going to use the small ladle, and here's a bowl for you. And I'm going to let you use the big ladle because if I go into mine with the big ladle, I'm going to spill some more. There's a bowl for you.
Thank you.
And your ladle's hanging right there. And let's give this a little try. Oh boy, that is looking nice.